10.4 guys, so once again, back to doing my job of explaining the new patch since this is in beta and you guys do not have access to it. So first and foremost, I'm going to go over the new Survivor and the new Killer, get some real good details on them so you guys can see them, and then we'll get some gameplay with the Killer, and hopefully I can get the perks done and everything like that to a point where it makes sense. So I'll do the overview, and I'll just make this a single video just to keep it short, and then I'll do a gameplay video with both the Survivor and the Killer, and hopefully get the new map. I'm assuming there is one. There always is. So first and foremost, guys, we have Adam Francis, the Jamaican kid who grew up with his uncle, learns to love education, dies. You can't see me. I'm doing quotation marks, but he dies in a car or a train wreck. But his body was never found. He was taken in by the entity, which I know you guys don't care about. The lore of Dead by Daylight still isn't completed. So that's kind of something to be considered, is that now it's starting to look like people who enter have indeed died and are taken by the entity, or should have been, because he wasn't doing anything evil and he wasn't a bad person. So anyway, that's a topic for another day. But his perks are Diversion. So I think all three of his perks are actually super cool and very, very game-changing in the sense of how you want to play. I don't think any of them are overpowered per se, but I love all three of his perks. I think they did a really good job of developing the Survivor perk on this one. So it's an activatable perk when standing within the Killer terror radius and not in a chase. This is what's important. For 45 seconds. Activates the perk. So again, that's probably the weakest part about this, is that you have to be not in a chase for 45 seconds, and that is a incredibly long time to have to deal with that kind of active. I'm hoping that changes to 15 seconds or 20 as you progress past the perk and hit level 3. We'll have to figure what that is, but anyway, for X amount of time, in this case 45 seconds, you get an active ability where you can throw a pebble. And that pebble creates the loud noise indicator that you would see when you fail a generator or fail a skill checker things for the Killer. So you can potentially, while not being chased, create literally, the title says Diversion, and make it look like a Killer or Survivor jumped in a locker or went over a window. And there's a lot of potential with this one. I just don't like the 45 seconds. And the distance of 10 meters is lackluster because that's really close to where you're at. You just might as well just taking a hit. But as those two change with level 3, it might become cool. It's the weakest of the 3 perks as far as I'm concerned. Deliverance is after performing a safe hook on a Survivor, the perk activates. Now, as soon as you save somebody from the hook, the next time you get hooked, you get a 100% chance to be able to come off. This perk is insane for someone like myself who loves to mess with killers and save people and do all that sort of thing. This is what Borrowed Time should have been, in my opinion, when it was released, because this right here is an excellent example of how that should work. But basically, yeah, when you unhook a friend, the next time you're hooked, you have a 100% chance to unhook yourself during the escape attempt. I'm very curious to see if things like Monstrous Shrine, which reduces your chance to, be unhooked during an escape attempt, if it comes off of the 100, or if the 100 is a full flat guaranteed. Depends on how the number is contributed in the code. So we'll have to see how that works. And then after your successful deliverance, you receive the Broken Status Effect. Broken Status Effect means that you, broken is interesting. I don't think you can do anything for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Broken Status Effect. Because there's Mangled. I'm probably just forgetting what Broken does. So, but anyway. Then Autodidact. Autodidact. How you say that. So you start the trial with a 20% penalty to healing. Every time you complete a skill check, you receive a token. Once you get all 3 tokens, you get a bonus progression. And so what I don't understand here is, can you lose those skill checks? Because if you can't, then this is basically like running with a purple med kit permanently as one of your perks, which is pretty cool. And you'll notice that it doesn't work with medkit, which is something to be considered. So, anyway, that is the Survivor. Sorry, I'm yawning. Let's go to what we're meat and potatoes. The Spirit, totally knew it. She looks really cool. You'll notice that she's literally ethereal through like her leg and her arms and stuff like that. It's pretty sweet. Her weapon is the Samurai. I can't remember what it's called. Now here's something creepy that you guys will notice. I thought this was grass. Turns out it's all glass. It's a very sad story that I read, so it's kind of messed up, but such is life. And she crawls through glass in this story. So her perks are Spirit Fury, right? After breaking 4 pallets, this is going to drop down to 2, almost guaranteed. This is actually really, I think there's a hidden power level in this because, yeah, you think about it. After breaking 2 pallets, the next time you are stunned, the entity will instantly break the pallet for you. If you run this with Enduring, which loses the stun cooldown by 40%, on any killer, not just the spirit, that is a huge advantage. And basically, you can basically go through pallets, right? You can lunge through them, and you'll freaking just smack them. You'll just get them every time, because then by the time they catch on and they start stunning you, pallet's broken and you're stunned for all of like 0.6 seconds, right? Which is gonna catch up to them. So I actually like this perk in certain scenarios. I might run this in my Hillbillies and things like that. I'll have to see and test it out. Hex Haunted Ground. I actually really like this perk for different reasons. I like anything that creates the exposed status effect because it can really shore up a weakness that a killer has. For example, like the Doctor or the Wraith. This would be really good on the Wraith because that 40 seconds is going to get extended because of how this perk would work. I imagine it's going to be 40, 50, 60. And basically when one of those totems are on the ground, right, immediately after that minute, everyone has the exposed status effect, and you can snowball off of that very hard. Very high risk, high reward perk, and I like those. I like having those in the game. And then Rancor. Put my mouse on it. You become obsessed with one survivor each time a generator is completed. The obsession sees you for 5 seconds. Each time a generator is completed, all survivors' locations are revealed to you for 3. So it's like having a mini Dark Whisper, and for the obsession, for them to be able to have I don't know what the perk is called, but whatever perk allows you to see the killer for X amount of time. But the point about Rancor that's important is that once all generators are complete, you can kill or Mori the survivor, right? Which is really important. Because that means you can finish all of your stupid Mori quests, right? If you got Rancor on all the other killers. But also, it really creates a scenario where, you can down the survivor at the start of the game. Or not the start of the game, but at the end of the game, you have one obsession who actually can be taken down and killed instantly, right? And so that puts a lot of pressure on the obsession and can create some chaos in the game. Her ability is Yamoka's Haunting. So basically, you hold the power button to charge. When you're in the spirit world, you are invisible to the survivors, and I don't know if you do or do not have a heartbeat, but you leave behind a husk. And I imagine that husk has a heartbeat, but it's not moving. So, yeah, the power bar, you'll notice at the bottom it says the power bar replenishes over time, so there is a scale where you can and can't go into the spirit world and a resource that you have to manage. But you cannot see the survivors in the spirit world, but you can see their scratch marks. And then, it says the spirit will produce an audible cue at her current location. As the power is ended, the spirit retains her speed boost for a brief period. And you get a speed boost when you leave, which is cool. So I'm excited to play her and see what's going on. And then lastly, I didn't actually read anything on it, but I'm going to go check the patch notes really fast. 2.2, let's see here. Boom. Yep. Okay, here we go. Add a new status effect for survivors broken. Survivors affected with the broken spirit may not be healed past the injured state for the duration, so they wouldn't know either. Oh, okay. So broken means they can't be healed completely. So when you jump off from Deliverance, right, you cannot be healed. You have no mither without all the cool side effects for 100 seconds. That's a pretty big deal. Let's see. Added a new score event, Safe Hook Rescue. Oh, so they're changing it so you can't farm survivors. You get points after they've been knocked down for 10 seconds. All right. Cool. And then it's clearly help desk stuff. Okay, so points changing. Unhook animation canceled. Okay, guys, this is big right here. So you know how when you're in the middle of the unhook animation and you can't run away, right? Like you have to, like, I wish I was with you, but you know how you're like, you reach up to grab them, and then you have to reach off to start again? You can literally immediately run away any part of the animation. So, anyway, there is still, it's not like a touch and go. You can't literally tap and go. You'll notice it goes from 2.4 to 1.2. So one Mississippi 1. That's how long you're on the hook for, so you can't just bait the killer constantly. And then there's a new immunity, there's a new invulnerability window when you come off of the hook. So you know, like when you get saved and immediately as you touch the ground, before you even have a chance to move, or like for instance, you can't cast Dead Hard, right? Before the killer can hit you when you're on the hook, there is now an immunity window to where you can, before you regain control of your character, so basically before you have the chance to actually hit Dead Hard, or use a speed boost or anything, right? You actually cannot get hit, which is really cool. So I remember the changes they were making to these. I like them because those changes really do fight against the campers probably more than anything. So yes, by the way, you can see a reflection of something in this glass. I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's a little creepy. Just keep your eye on that for a minute. It's like a smile, you know, a face or something. Anyway, let's see, adjusted. Oh, okay, yeah, if you're stationary, the pallet comes down quicker. I knew they were planning on making that change because they were trying to anti-vacuum. They changed Bloodlust because they were saying that it was a little too OP against 1 and 2 survivors. So I'm a little sad about this one, to be honest, guys. This is PTB. I don't think they're going to keep it to this minimal, but I think Bloodlust level 3 is important to have higher than 1.6 or the level 2 version. Only because you can get ran for so long. I agree that 1.2 meters per second, I mean, you guys have seen them. I call them a race car. As soon as they hit Bloodlust level 3, they're like, pew, and they can catch you no matter what you do. I think it needs to be lowered, but I'd like to see it at 0.9. And I'd like to see this one unchanged, or only changed to 0.5, because I think Bloodlust is something killers need. I know they've made a lot of changes to make survivors weaker, but something like this is going to hit them fairly hard when you get a good looper. Unless their intention is discouraging you from chasing a looper, then I guess that's something. Let's see, map changes. Boom, 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 boom. Yep, Oh, they're getting away of infinites. This is going to be an interesting thing. The long chase windows, the infinites. Yikes. Maybe that's why they're changing Bloodlust, is just because they just completely eliminated them. Huh. Echo's Grim Pantry, Mother's Dwelling. I know exactly what windows these are. Groaning Storehouse, there was actually a chance that you could get 2 windows across from each other. The killer literally couldn't even catch you on Bloodlust level 3 until like 3 or 4 minutes. That's crazy. Interesting. This is going to be big. This is going to be big for the killer. Trap buffering. They had this in the game, guys, when the game started and they got rid of it. But now, when a trapper puts a trap down, so like if you're trapped in a corner or something like that and he's trying to trap, you know, and force you into it, there's a window where the trap doesn't do anything. So you can run over a trap that's recently been, yeah. So, no, I lied. I'm so sorry. If you're disarming a trap, that's what it was. I'm an idiot. When you're disarming a trap, so let's say, you know, I'm disarming the trap and you run next to the trap, it would trap you right now. Trap buffering used to be in the game so that you could help people get through pallets and things. So like if you see a trap in front of a pallet and you don't want the trapper to know where you are, someone starts disarming the trap, one person runs through, the other person disarms the trap and you run through with it, right? So like when certain totems or, you know, generators are completely surrounded by traps and you have to disarm one to make it a reality, it feels bad, man. They brought that back. However, disarm bear trap times increased by a whole second, which is kind of a big deal. So this right here, that is a lot of wraith changes. Good luck reading that, boys. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. They really worked out his add-ons, and then I'm curious to see movement speed while on has been adjusted. Like if his movement speed isn't really affected while on cloaking, you can get on top of people and start smacking them. So, cool. All right, that's this video, boys. I'm gonna get this one up on YouTube so you guys can just see those in action, and then I'm gonna get a game loaded up.